gaslighting, triggering, and misunderstanding, right?
Yeah. Those are three strong words. Yeah, they are very strong words, especially when it comes to relationship, friendship, and
Triggering, I
whatnot.
think triggering has to do with wounds, past
year,
things that's happened in the past and
yes,
makes you
want to react in a certain
in a certain way. Something might be happening right now that triggers that memory,
yeah,
that triggers that trauma that you've been through. So these things tend to show itself in your present relationship, sometimes without you knowing.
No, just like when someone says, guys will stay in your white, men will stay in your white, women are this. From past experiences, they want to bring that baggage into the new relationship and therefore tend to act or react in a certain way towards their partner because of what the other ex has done. That's something.
Yeah, something like that. Like some people now, they can be with someone, and that person will be like, you try calling your partner, and your partner will be like, oh, maybe it's a long distance relationship, and you call the partner, and the partner says, oh, sorry, I was doing my laundry, and the person now remembers that whenever their ex partner said they were doing their laundry, maybe they were out doing something else with someone else, or maybe they were out getting drunk, just doing something that made them unhappy or made them sad or broke their heart.
Yes.
So that thing now, instead of listening to what that person is saying, you're like doing laundry. Oh, that's what you're saying now, right? Oh, I know you are out with her. I know you are doing that. I know you are doing this. Now you're not listening to that person as a new person or as a different person, or you're reacting to what you have been through in the present time. So that's triggers. And really, things like this should be addressed.
It should be addressed.
If your partner is, how do I put it now, conscious, the person will notice a pattern in your behavior and be like, why does this trigger you so much? Do you want to talk about it? You get? Do you want to reason with me why this is like this? Some people, because you didn't grow up with these people, some people grew up with their partners, but then what are the chances of that happening? You didn't grow up with these people. They grew up in a different household from you. They have different siblings. They have different experiences. So it is more than likely that they might have traumas they're dealing with. Someone who grew up from a home that was broken up from a young age might react to things differently.
Because they keep seeing their parents arguing, fighting.
So they might not share the same experiences with you. So you should be able to talk about these things, and you should be sensitive enough to know how to acknowledge their own experiences
and identify these triggers. Just it should be you have to identify to know how to tackle the problem, because that brings us to misunderstanding.
Yeah, misunderstanding. Most of the relationship problems stems from that.
Yeah.
I will still hit on it that communication, clear communication is the bedrock of any relationship, friendship or business or whatever it is.
Communication.
Communication is key. Clear communication is key.
Say it, sort it.
Yeah. If you communicate clearly, you can always avoid misunderstanding. I'm not saying agree with people with whatever they bring to you. No. You can always communicate clearly, even in disagreement. You can always make your voice known. Clear communication. Communicate your feelings. Communicate your own point of view. Communicate your own perspective without hurting the relationship. So communication is what makes misunderstanding something to build upon. Because misunderstanding in relationship is not something you say, no, you can go without. No. How would the relationship grow? How would you learn each other's preferences? How would you know what each other likes?
If you keep misunderstanding each other in a relationship, you will keep fighting. That's the truth. You must be at the same level. Try at least. Try. If you keep misunderstanding, I don't understand you, and you work on your misconception, I don't know. You don't want to calm down and understand your partner. You tell that this is what it is. Or you said you're going to call me by 7, and you didn't call me by 7. What was that about? You must be with another woman. I'm just saying, okay, look, I don't care. I don't want to.
So we've talked about triggers as things in a relationship from your past or from your background or upbringing, or just generally baggage you bring to the relationship, and how you can heal from them, because you need to heal from them for your relationship to work. And also your partner needs to be patient with you and help you heal too. And if, in as much as they themselves, they might also have some triggers. So it's just two people working together to better themselves.
Yeah, and you must be very ready to identify these triggers.
Yes, that's another thing.
There is a problem. let's solve this problem.
Yes, and you can't identify them if you're not conscious.
Communicating.
Yeah, you have to communicate as well, because it's the communication that bridges the gap when it comes to misunderstanding. Clear communication helps. I can't overstress communication in a relationship, because for me it's the key ingredient.
It is the key
People will
ingredient.
always say
It is the key.
it's love, but communication is, because when you communicate, that is what brings about understanding.
Just like when you have a baby, newborn baby, as new as day one, you know the baby is crying by what? Communication. How does the baby communicate? Yeah. That's it. It's as simple. Anything the baby wants. If you don't communicate, we are not, nobody's a god, nobody's a supernatural being. We are all humans. So how will I know that you have a problem? As I'm sitting here, if I don't tell my husband, my tummy is hot, my stomach is paining me, he wouldn't know. Communication. He will, yeah, or if I don't tell him, I need to use the restroom, the washroom, he wouldn't know. Communication. So we can't even overemphasize on that. Never. I don't even think people give it enough credit.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They don't. It's
Don't worry.
something that is
I'll just keep
easily.
it to myself.
It's
I'll just be calm. How would you change? How would you change?
yeah, and people over assume a lot in relationship.
Most that brings us to efficiently to understand where your partner is driving to, and your partner will also give you the same energy. But it's a vice versa. Understand me, I understand you. We might be saying two different things, but 7 plus 3 is 10. 8 plus 2 is still 10.
Yeah, true.
9 plus 1 is still 10. Let's just try and understand each other and stop assuming or being conclusive or being dismissive. I don't care. Do it this certain way. I'm in charge. I'm the man. No, I'm the woman. I'm the woman.
Right.
So we just have to learn to meet ourselves at a particular level. You can't be here and your partner is here.
Yeah. Meet each other halfway.
Halfway.
Compromise.
Yeah. My mom once told me that marriage or relationship. When I say marriage, I say also relationship, because these two things are, that it's like two people carrying a canopy. 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold it 1, 2. The other person holds 1. If there's a balance, equal effort, there's a balance. But if one person lets go, what happens to the canopy? It just collapses. That's marriage.
Yeah.
You can't overemphasize these things.
True.
So, Jess, what's our third word for today?
The third one is a big one. Gaslighting.
Woo!
Gaslighting.
Woo!
Gaslighting.
Woo!
I think the major thing we need to take out from gaslighting, that we need to know from gaslighting, is that it deals on manipulation.
Yeah.
When people want to manipulate you, they gaslight. There are people who are masters in manipulation. They gaslight. And gaslighting takes away the trust in the relationship.
That's true.
Because it makes the other partner feel less and less and less of themselves. It makes them not to trust themselves. It makes them not to believe in what they believe in.
It takes them back to where they started. Imagine your partner is making conscious effort not to respond to your, abuses or so, and you keep gaslighting them. And one day they're like, enough! And they go back to where they are. It's horrible. Nobody deserves that.
Nobody deserves that. And what is gaslighting really? Gaslighting is making someone blowing up things out of proportion, making something out of the reality. The reality of something might be that, okay, this is a real problem, but sometimes it might even be that you're belittling the problem.
Yeah.
You're making a problem that is a problem not look like a problem.
Or the one that's not a problem,
you're making it look like a problem.
Every point is bad.
English people will say making an ant hill into a mountain. Things are gaslight. You get.
And when you make a mountain, there must be a balance. If not one, if it's too much on the left, it's too much on the right. You just have to maintain that balance.
Sometimes you make somebody examples of things like that. You tell the person you're being too dramatic, you're being insensitive. Someone is telling you how they feel. And you tell the person, "Oh, it's not painful. It's not painful." What do you mean?
It's painful. I'm the one feeling it.
What do you mean? So you're saying, "Oh, do you know what I went through to give birth? I do not want to have more than 4 kids." You should be able to listen to this person and say, "Okay, how are we going to move from here? You don't want to have more kids. You already had 4." And the man is saying, "No, we need 1 more to make a girl. You have 4 boys already." And the woman is saying, "No more," because she knew what she went through, almost losing her life. And you're saying, "Other women are giving birth. My mom gave birth to 7 kids. Why can't you give me 7 kids?" So this is gaslighting.
But yes,
it needs only 2 way.
What if the man in question had told the woman how he really wanted or wants or maybe a baby girl, and they've already had 4 boys, and she says she's not going again, and he's still trying to.
Well, you see, that's why I said open communication. You get. Even the Bible said two cannot work together unless they agree, right? So now you've had this agreement. Marriage is always subject to what? Re-agreement.
Changes, yeah.
You get? So that is why I said compromise. You should always be able to meet each other halfway. You said this, you wanted a girl. Fine. The woman is not who gives girls or who gives boys.
I understand.
God does that.
I understand perfectly.
So now, if there is no feasible solution from that part within the marriage, you can also try adoption. These are things you should talk about.
And she said, no, I don't want a child entirely adopted, biological. I just don't want to have another baby in this house.
Well, she should have her own reasons for that.
Reasons
you can discuss it.
Being that she's done she's done taking care of infants.
That's a
and
valid
the man
one too.
really wants a baby girl.
That is not a deal breaker for me to say you want to end the marriage or you want to
So what do you advise
look
the man
elsewhere. What I would advise the man to do is to be patient.
What's the patience for?
The patience is to see if the person can change their mind later.
She's already in her late 40s.
So it's biologically, even you as the man who might also be in the same shoes, having kids at that point, I would not advise anybody
but
to.
He really wants this baby girl. He has always dreamt of having a little girl, his own. My child, that's my daughter.
Okay. What do you think should be the solution?
Don't put me at the spot. You're the one having the seats.
That's what I'm saying. me as a man, I'll be very, very considerate. You get? If we cannot find a solution within the marriage, then it's something it's a cross I have to bear. For me, it's not a deal breaker to end the marriage. That's for me.
For me, I think you should suck it up.
What I would leave our viewers with is that gaslighting is not something that is good. If you see gaslighting, if you feel it, if you notice it in your relationship, you should be able to call it out, and call it out in a very empathetic way, knowing fully well that the patterns of behavior your partner is displaying might be something that has been learned as a coping mechanism over the years, or as something they use to deal with their traumas. So it might not just because they want to be manipulative. It might be a learned behavior. It might be a pattern of behavior that is used as a coping strategy. So you should be able to address it and set meaningful and realistic boundaries to help checkmate gaslighting. And for triggering, for that, I would always advise kindness. Use kindness to follow it up. You need to be attentive to your partner to identify things that trigger them. Then communication, always leave the channel of communication open. Whether you are in disagreement, whether you are not agreeing on a topic or agreeing as the case may be, as it happens in many relationships and marriages, you should be able to communicate openly and effectively and clearly so that it is not malicious. It doesn't create a toxic environment.
I'd like to add, when communicating in a relationship, you should take back what you learned from communicating via an email. Make it simple, clear, polite, as much as you can. Yeah. Effective communication should be very polite, clear. Don't use jargon. Don't use foul words.
No assumption.
Don't communicate based on your emotion. Yeah, you might be, maybe. You know the thing. If you're really angry, I don't even think you should say much. Just keep calm. When you're settled, it makes communication so sweet. Oh, baby, look, about yesterday. You see, he's now willing to listen. Not, see, let me tell you, all the. And when you're raising your voice, you're also triggering the person to also want to say one or two hurtful things. No, that's not a trigger. That is gaslighting the person. You're also gaslighting the person to say one or two defensive things. And you wouldn't blame anybody that was gaslighted, because I said it in the heat of the moment. Yeah, you called me stupid. I need to call you something bigger than stupid. Pastor, I go for, I don't know, bastard. Because it's heated. I don't want you to win this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to go back to when you're typing an email to a company, just give that same respect to your partner, to your friends, people around you. And you see that this life is really very simple, easy, and lovely.
Love is sweet, but you have to make it sweet. You have to put in the effort.
Love is sweet, but you're sweeter. Yes. See you guys.
Bye, guys.